Welcome in, everybody. Today we're working on achieving the perfect edge up. But before the freshness, there's the battle. But don't worry, I'm going to walk you through each step of the process and show you everything I did to get this line as crispy as it is right here. Unfortunately, we do have to start off the haircut in the trenches. Just detangle and make sure your clippers don't snag. I'm using my OG Andis Masters right here to knock everything down to a true number one with the grain. Like I said, I'm going to walk you through this step by step and show you each tool that I use and why I use it without getting too long-winded. Now, we chose the Andis Master right here because I feel like it does the best job of holding and smoothing hairs down and cutting them at the same time. So for a style where we want the hairs laid all the way down, kind of like waves or something, I usually choose something that has enough teeth to comb the hair and cut it at the same time. So the next thing we're gonna do is move to a standard clipper. So that one's a style craft, but the important part about that is having that smooth guard on there. So that smooth half guard. I like the gray one the best, but clearly it wasn't the closest one to me, but the gray one and the black one are both smooth. One half guards for laying everything down, but not picking up hairs. It just smushes everything down and cuts anything that's sticking up. So I just want to warn you again, there are a lot of steps to this process. Right now, we are setting the outline of the whole haircut. So that's why we did the bald line there. And then we clean the edge up so that we can trace around the outline of the whole haircut with our trimmers before we start to do our shading. The goal today is to be as precise as possible. So we're using the detailer on that first pass on the edge up. So the detailer gives you a really sharp, crisp edge up. And the Babyliss does as well, but I like to use that more for bulk removal and taking out any types of lines and also cleaning up behind the detailer. They both give a different feel. So I like to use those together to kind of complement each other. When I'm doing an edge up, I like to start from the middle, tap each bar in, and then connect the dots. So when you work that way, it makes it a lot easier to make sure that everything is straight. And when you're tapping in that bar, just make sure that it's pointed towards the outside of the eye. So that'll put you right at 90 degrees. Sometimes you'll go a little bit tighter to make it a little more aggressive, or sometimes you make it a little wider when you're going for a more conservative look. So now that the edge up looks pretty crisp, we're going in with our Stylecraft clipper with no guard. We're starting that thing off all the way closed up, so that's the shortest length. We flicked it all the way open really quickly to go up about halfway through the fade. And then what we did was open it and comb through it right there, like you see, to knock that about down to 3/4. And then we're just cornering out and flipping to repeat that process and make sure everything is smooth, and that we were able to do that part pretty quickly at the same time. Shaving cream to clean that skin and that hair and those oils and really prep that surface. I know we cleaned it once before we did the first edge up, but we're cleaning it again just to make sure that we get every impurity out that we can. I learned how to put the shaving cream on pretty quickly with the back of a comb, working at one of my favorite barbers' shops. So they'll know who they are when they watch this video. But yeah, that was something that I learned, and it helps a lot. No, actually, shout out to Joey at Joey Cuts, man. That's where I learned that when I was over there. I'm thankful I got to be in that space for a minute, but I took off the alcohol a little bit differently. I take off the shaving cream a little bit differently using alcohol just because it dries it out too. And then you don't have to use as many towels. So It's a little bit quicker. I feel like it's just as clean. So thanks for that tip. So we did our fading with the other clipper, and now we're gonna do our blending with this master again. So we're going in with that all the way open. It opens to a 1. It has longer teeth like we were talking about, so we can comb through, have a little bit more control, and also detail at a lot of different lengths in order to make that area really blendy for the taper. We went ahead and hit them with some generic pre-mixed enhancements with our enhancement card, and that's Kiss Express diluted with alcohol, because I like my enhancements to go on really thin so that we can layer it and not make it too dark or too light. So you can always add more coats. It's just more difficult to take it off than it is to just do it right the first time. Clean up the edge up behind the enhancements to get a crisp line there, and then also take off any overspray with alcohol. Alcohol, fibers, Tresemme holding spray. Boom, you see how quick that was? I didn't even move. No, I'm just kidding. I just chopped up the video. But we did alcohol, fiber, holding spray, and now before the holding spray sets all the way, we're going in with our detailer to get that line as crisp as we can. Remember, those hit a little bit sharper than the other ones that we were using to clean up, since these are fibers instead of the liquid holding spray. We're really attacking that front line just to make sure everything's super crisp. And honestly, most clients would be satisfied with their haircut at this point, but we are only halfway through. But we're gonna handle the mirror and see what he thinks before we tilt him back. Look, right here. Okay, so we're halfway there, and on the second half, we really need to focus and apply some pressure because we're about to get the razors out. Well, we got them tilted back so we can see this line as straight as possible. And we're edging them up from this perspective, just laid back. So get ready, we're gonna stretch the skin right here and use that foil shaver to get off any baby hairs. Get those off of his forehead before we touch it with the razor. And we're going for the most tasteful 3-dimensional look right here. So we're gonna use an enhancement pencil, but we're also gonna rub it in just a little bit to make sure that it's not too much of a contrast where it doesn't look natural. So yeah, of course we can make an ash line, but we're gonna enhance our ash line. That's all the pencil's for. It's not, I don't believe it's supposed to. Use your artistic expression. Don't make them that dark. Just don't use the pencils that aggressively, if you ask me, but do you? So this whole thing feels like prep work. We're cleaning anything out of the way. We're making sure we got a clean canvas so that we can be fully present with our razor, and we just want that to cut through like it's cutting through the ether. So we need to make sure that we are fully present, stretching that skin, taut, not too tight, but really just paying attention and letting those hairs come off and move that into the straightest line that you can make safely. But I promise, the more prep work you do and the more things that you move out of the way before you get started, the easier it will be for you to see and to do the work that you need to do with the razor. So we were cooking, we were doing great. Look, we even stretched this really tight and just really light with the razor. But the thing, honestly, I don't think I would have done this in hindsight for this one. I'm going to review the film, and honestly, I'm going to say I would have skipped the dry shampoo because it took out some of the contrast between that line and the dark color of his hair. So his haircut will probably last a tiny bit longer because we did this and we hit it with the razor again, but I don't think it was worth losing the contrast of his hairline in order to do that. See, now that I'm looking back, we're scrambling, trying to fix that. So we're adding a couple fibers. We're gonna fix it, everything's fine. We're adding a couple fibers just to bring a little bit of that contrast back closer towards the hairline. But all in all, we're gonna touch it up, make sure everything's as crispy as we can get it, and continue to make this edge up look sharp. I have my detailers sharpened and I have them set really aggressively, so I don't use much pressure when I'm using my detailers, whether it's the corded ones or the cordless ones. So I'm really just tapping and going with this one. So we got our shears out to detail the details. We used to talk about tapering our tapers and fading our fades, but right now we're detailing our details just to make sure that we're on top of everything. And we're gonna go back one more time across the front of that line, closer down on his forehead to make sure those baby hairs are gone. So anything that might have been left behind by the foil shaver, we're just making sure to shave it off with the actual razor now. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching this video. I'm gonna tag all the products down in the description, but we came a long way from where we started at the beginning. And now we got a product that is something we can be proud of. We really wanna get one to last for a month. That's the next goal. 3 weeks seems pretty easy, but we need to get a month. We need somebody's edge up to last for a month. Like this, share it, and shop with us to support the channel. But most of all, come back and subscribe. All right, talk to you soon. Later.